Now, I know this may look like a cushy number to you, driving around LA in a convertible with the roof down, but where else could I possibly be during Oscar week? Peckham? We're here to cover the showbiz event of the year, the 64th Annual Academy Awards, in a week of shows that native Californians would consider most excellent and way cool. I'll also be taking a look at beach culture and the LA lifestyle in the company of some of Hollywood's biggest stars. So join me, JR, all next week in LA, working very hard to bring you the best in TV entertainment. Where'd you say that bar was again?
Now on 4, spread your wings. We're off to TV heaven.
Hello, my darlings.
That's when I get the shakes all over me. Quivers down the backbone. I got the shakes down the knee bone. Yeah, the tremors in the thigh bone. Shaking all over.
See, there's a very considerable difference.
Brings that feeling on inside of me. Quivers down the backbone. I've got the shivers down the thigh bone. Yeah, the tremors in my backbone. Shaking all over. Down the backbone, yeah, the shakes in the knee bone. I got the tremors in the thigh bone, shaking all over.
I wonder when that was last played. About 1800, I should think.
Hello, welcome to TV Heaven. Looking at our clips, you no doubt reckon that it was all happening quite a while ago. Well, you're right. The year we're looting of its television treasures this week is the earliest we've tackled so far. Not 1800, but 1960. On the good side, it was in 1960 that it was pronounced legal for Lady Chatterley's lover to be sold openly, instead of in a brown paper dust jacket marked "Teach Yourself Solid-State Transistor Physics." Traffic wardens appeared in London streets, strolling slowly along, hoping to spot an illegally parked Rolls-Royce. Mind you, you could have parked legally at Newport Pagnell, where at the first ever motorway cafe, greasy spoon breakfasts were fried. Well, up here in TV Heaven, we've selected 4 complete programmes to show you from that year. Firstly, Ian Henry with a mystery delinquent in Police Surgeon.
What are you going to do about that money you stole?
Yeah. You want to watch what you're saying, you do.
Next, Dan Farson's controversial documentary on Britain's youth, Living for Kicks. Then a classic from Armchair Theatre, Alan Owen's Lena, Oh My Lena. And finally, a comedy series which could be fairly described as offbeat, The Strange World of Gurney Slade.
Oi, you know I can't swim. I'd sink like a stone.
There's much more besides, as we offer up our usual playback of opening credits, commercials, and other highlights from what remains of 1960s telly. But first, our opener, Police Surgeon. You know, the attitude adopted towards the police in the early days of ITV wasn't all sweetness and light and Dixon of Dock Green. And Police Surgeon was one of the first series to present the police in a much more critical way, a realistic-looking portrayal of the police in action. It starred Ian Hendry as the young police surgeon who brooded about it all a great deal. Interesting that Hendry played much the same sort of character alongside Patrick Macnee in the original Avengers. Later, Hendry went on to star as the Informer, and in the 70s turned up in the Lotus Eaters. But here he is in the first episode of Police Surgeon, with young Michael Crawford terrific as a skinny delinquent. That is the only surviving episode of Police Surgeon. Well, unless you've got one on top of the wardrobe, or under the bed, perhaps in the garden shed. Why not have a quick look during this ad break? You never know.
Would you send your child to a school where the children make the rules?
You can go to bed whenever you like.
Where lessons in life
I don't get harassed here. I don't get harassed at home.
go hand in hand with lessons in massage, and pairing off becomes a ritual.
With my body, I thee pledge much pleasure.
And where to make your point.
It's one advantage of sending your kids here. You don't have to spend money on clothes.
You only have to make yourself heard.
She has a goddamn orthodontal appointment, and they... How dare they?
70 Years of Summerhill, Cutting Edge, Monday at 9 on 4.
Sick of sound bites?
Maddened by manifestos?
Paralysed by polls?
Then tune in for the cure.
To Sunday, Bloody Sunday, the alternative election show.
Edwina's workout is the campaign a sweat.
Hollywood hype, will the red rose bloom?
And Major's birthday, will he get many happy returns?
All that and more, tomorrow on 4.
Welcome back to TV Heaven. We have for you now our regular roundup of those evocative title sequences, which we call opening shots.
Crime knows no frontiers. To combat the growing menace of the international criminal, the police forces of the world have opened up their own national boundaries. At their headquarters in Paris, scientifically equipped to match the speed of the jet age, 63 nations have linked together to form the International Criminal Police Organization, Interpol.
Every government has its Secret Service branch. America, its CIA, France, Deuxième Bureau, England, MI5. A messy job? Well, that's when they usually call on me or someone like me. Oh, yes. My name is Drake. John Drake.
And now, another exciting adventure from Four Feather Falls.
and dog to gun techs. Gallamagoo, you Gallamagoo, you Gallamagoo.
In the lands of the north, where the black rocks stand guard against the cold sea, in the dark night that is very long, the men of the Northland sit by their great log fires and they tell a tale. They tell of Noggin, Prince of the Nogs, the young king of the Northlands who sailed to the land of the midnight sun to fetch Nuka, Princess of the Nooks, to be his queen. They tell how he rescued the little people of the Hot Water Valley from a dragon, how the dragon became his friend, came to his aid in the land of Silver Sand, and there fought the great black genie in the sky above the city and blew him into an ice cube. So Noggin and his companions flew home to the Northlands in their strange flying machine. And in the Northlands there was peace and happiness for many years.
Next up is a selection of those choice cuts still with us from 1960, cannily titled A Choice of Viewing.
Candid Camera, secretly filming you in unexpected situations. Presented by television's comedy host, Bob Monkhouse.
Hello. Welcome to Candid Camera, ladies and gentlemen, the show that puts you in the picture. Now, do you know where the funniest comedians in the country are right now? Well, some millions of them are watching this show, and you're one of them. It's true, whether you're tinker, tailor, soldier, sailor, poor man, rich man, beggar man, income tax collector, whichever you are, you're funnier than the professional comedian. It's true, you think about it. How many times have you looked out of the window of a bus or a train and you've seen something, someone doing something that has made you want to burst out with laughter, or you've gone home and said, I saw the funniest thing today, I wish I had a camera with me. Well, we've got a camera, a candid camera, and then you run into another snag. Now, the professional comedian can be himself on TV, but the average person, well, they're just not natural in front of a camera. So we've got cunning about it. We've hidden our camera, you see. We conceal it. And we're filming you and your neighbors as you face life's little difficulties.
Well, you're not getting anything, are you? You're not getting anything, are you?
I don't know. It's, Well, I want you to try and imagine now that you're a garage mechanic and that you've got to fix the engine of a car. But what happens when the car hasn't got an engine? Jonathan Ralph from the Candid Camera team removed the engine from an ordinary car.
Well, it's too much for one man. He goes off. Now he's going to have a summit conference. All the boys in the garage get together,
And they come over to the car. They have a long look in the bonnet. They have a long think about it, and then they come to an important decision. This is it.
There's no engine in there. Well, I don't know about that. All I'm interested in is the driving. You can't drive with no engine, can you? Well, can you do something about it? How did you get in here? Pardon? How did you drive in here? We just came from Basingstoke. Colonel comes from Basingstoke. Fire engine up here. You better go up there. What do you think of it? Not coaching, is it not coach? No. What's he got in it then? I don't know.
Alta.
Yes, sir?
This man over there, he's making a nuisance of himself.
Oh. Which one?
The dirtier of the two. The one with the concertina. He's calling me about it, so.
Is he?
Yes.
Well, that's not really a crime in itself, is it? I mean,
He hasn't accosted you or insulted you in any way, has he?
His whole presence is an insult. I mean, look at him, he's a right royal toe rag, he is.
Well, I suppose he's not everybody's cup of tea, but chacun a son goût.
Pardon?
Chacun a son goût.
No, he ain't been doing anything like that. What has he been doing? Following us, that's all, you know. Keep following me.
Perhaps he's taken a fancy to you.
What's his job? What's his game?
He's a busker, sir. Now, under the new laws, I should really pull him in. Now, well, that's what happened to his two pals, but, well, live and let live, that's what I say. You take my advice, sir. Just you ignore him.
He's not the type to be ignored. He's up to something, you mark my words.
Yeah. Well, much as I'd love to help you, sir, I'm afraid my hands are tied. Now, if he was to make an assault on you with a deadly weapon, or attempt to pick your pockets, or even offer to introduce you to his sister, well, I'd gladly take action. But at the moment, I'm afraid the Metropolitan Police has got a few more important things to do than to arrest a man just because you don't happen to like him. Now, if you'll excuse me, sir, I've left my moped by a no parking sign. The police are very hot round here.
At some date in the future, you will commit a murder.
I see it too often, tell people it's off, eh?
Only when I see it in the hand, Lord.
Of course, yes. I couldn't possibly commit a murder. I wouldn't know how to go about it.
Oh, no doubt your lordship has some friend who could advise you properly.
Oh, I couldn't possibly tell any of my friends a secret like this. It'd be all over London in an hour.
There must be someone your lordship can trust.
Oh, my man Bairns. Mr. Podgers, do give me your word of honor. You see this terrible thing in my hand?
That is the prognostication.
I see, yes. And there's no escape?
Oh, no, none at all.
This is ridiculous. I couldn't possibly commit a murder. I should be far too busy. I'm getting married next week.
Well, need you let it interfere with your arrangements, my lord? After all, you may have many years of married bliss before the unhappy event takes place.
Potter, I couldn't possibly think of marrying with a sort of,
Damocles?
Thank you very much. Hanging over my head.
Don't despair, Lord Arthur. After all, for all we know, fate may have ordained you to do this deed before next week. In which case, you may marry Miss Merton with a clear conscience.
Mr. Podgers, you're absolutely right. If I have to commit this terrible deed, it's my duty to do it before my marriage.
Your nobility is most moving, my lord.
Thank you. I'm well known for my nobility of character. Except amongst my relatives, of course. Well, I suppose there's no time to waste. I suppose I'd better go and pick a victim.
Shall we say client, my lord?
Oh, thank you.
It sounds better.
Good day.
Good day, my lord.
Would you please just cut the cards once like this behind your back? Do it now, once. Yeah. Have you done so?
Yeah.
Hold them together. Now, would you please take the first card from the top of the pack? Do not look at it.
No.
Place it in your right-hand pocket, sight unseen. Have you?
Yes.
Now, would you please take the first card from the top of the pack right now and sight unseen place it into your left-hand pocket?
The next one, up on the
Yes,
top.
into your left-hand pocket without looking at the card.
I've not seen that thing yet.
Thank you. Do you know the two cards that you've selected?
No idea.
Do I know them?
I don't see how you can possibly
How can I possibly know? Now, look at the cards again in your hand. Now, look at the cards that you hold.
Yes.
And let's show them all again. They're all different cards here, right?
Yes.
Now, so nobody could know what the cards are. But, of course, I know. And you know why.
No.
Because they expect me to. No other reason under the sun. So I know the two cards that you've selected. And I will tell you the two cards that you have in your pocket. Yet you, sir, on your own and by yourself, will tell us exactly in which pocket you have which card. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. I think the following are the two cards in your pocket, sir. One is a red card, one is a black card. The black one is a 3 of clubs, the red one, the 10 of diamonds. The 10 of diamonds, the 3 of clubs. Whatever you decide, sir, tell us in which pocket you would like to have which card. It will be so. Then we'll give you time to change your mind if you wish, or not, or whatever you say. Am I confusing you?
No.
Do you remember the two cards I've told you?
Oh, yes.
You do?
10 of diamonds, 3 of clubs, yeah.
What?
10 of diamonds, 3 of clubs. Oh, no.
I knew something like that's going to happen. You have the 3 of clubs.
I beg your pardon.
And the 10 of diamonds.
Clubs and the 10 of diamonds.
Right, sir, and decide upon your decision rests the whole thing here Whatever you say, say.
All right, then.
All right, then.
The 10 of diamonds...
Is where?
Left or right, isn't it?
It doesn't matter, yes. Say
my right pocket. 10 of
Wonderful.
diamonds.
Please remember what you said. 10 of diamonds,
yes.
ladies and gentlemen. Please remember, 10 of diamonds is in your right pocket.
Yes.
Good. And the 3 of clubs, sir, in your left. Please remember that. So therefore, ladies and gentlemen, now I announce that this is exactly as he said, but as we said before, I have to give him at least 7 seconds to change his mind. Amazing as it may sound to you, sir, if you change your mind, you don't have to change it, by the way. If you do change your mind, however, the cards will change. If you do not change your mind, the cards will stay as they are. You don't have to change your mind, therefore. But I have to give you the 7 seconds. So here we go. 1, 2, 3...
Stop, I've changed my mind.
Change your mind, stop.
The 10 of diamonds is now in my left pocket.
Well, take it out. 10 of diamonds.
Yes.
Take it out. What is it? 10 of diamonds. And a 3 of clubs. Take it out. Thank you very much. 3 of clubs.
Canasta there, trying out his magic powers on a somewhat bewildered Ted Moult. After the break, Sexpresso Kids in TV Probe.
Without Walls examines filmmaking.
Classic shot in horror is the screaming face.
Starting with horror.
Nightmare on Elm Street, a virtual textbook of horror technique. Ghosts are frightening, nightmares too, but how about a homicidal ghost who invades your dreams, then has the power to slip from your nightmare to reality and mutilate you?
This is just a dream. He isn't real.
Followed by A Nightmare on Elm Street, the most celebrated horror film of them all, on Channel 4.
It's rather unnerving.
Hollywood, Los Angeles, California. Probably the smoggiest city in the world. And all next week, I'll be braving the fumes to bring you 3 shows that capture all the glamour, excitement and insincere emotions that Hollywood has to offer. Whether it's poolside in Beverly Hills, backstage at an Oscar party or barbecuing on Malibu Beach, I'll be there suffering through it all to bring you top TV entertainment. Join me, Jonathan Ross, next Monday, Wednesday and Friday at 6:30.
Welcome back to TV Heaven. Ian Hendry's problem with delinquents, seen earlier in Police Surgeon, was no isolated incident. Sounds like a suitable case for Dan Farson. Farson was one of British television's pioneering investigative reporters, and during the late 50s and early 60s, he dug around some of the debatable foibles of British society. Public schools, kleptomania, witchcraft, and drug addiction all came under his scrutiny. And the alarming rise of youth spending power was an obvious subject for him. Here he is in Living for Kicks, interrogating some carefree tearaways and their troubled parents. Living for Kicks caused a storm of indignation. The featured coffee bar, the Whiskey Our Go-Go, was promptly raided by Brighton's constabulary in search of those necking couples, and a town councillor told the Daily Sketch he was shocked by the programme, which was pornographic and designed to show up beastliness. Well, after the break, there's more beastliness afoot, as we ask, where were they then?
Dear Mum and Dad.
On a warm summer evening, the last thing this man ever saw was a cold-blooded murderer.
Only you and your faith in me keep me going.
The last thing this man ever expected was to be charged with the crime.
Every morning it feels like a dream.
Luckily, this woman survived the last bullets. Tragically, this was James Hanratty's last letter home.
But one day my name will be cleared without any doubt.
After 30 years, was Hanratty innocent? A new series of true stories, Thursday at 10 on 4.
Welcome back to TV Heaven, where it's time for famous faces to turn red as we ponder, where were they then?
Hey, bây giờ con quên, ai con quên cái ngay rồi.
Ê, con quên kìa, đâu kìa, quên kìa đôi kìa.
係應該會㗎，我好勁啊！anh ơi con son con cái cái bún ai cái bún bên cái bún là cái anh thôi anh ôi ai có vui cái hung vui à anh ngủ vui cái son hỏi phải cái bún anh dính tay.
Yes, for details of the best holidays on Earth at prices you can afford, write now to this address. Blue Cars. Blue Cars.
One of those fresh-faced Martians in dire need of Earth transport was none other than Nicholas Parsons, as if you hadn't guessed. Time for more vintage commercials now, along with some ad mags, those weekly mini-sagas long outlawed by the IBA.
Absolutely beyond me altogether, the nonsense that you two women talk. If you want a really decent meal, you've got to get a man to cook it.
Oh, Kenneth, look, I never knew a man who was capable of cooking more than 2 dishes.
Ridiculous, Eleanor. Just a moment, please. Just a moment, please. Anyhow, who comes back home from shopping with really interesting ingredients? Spices, herbs, and the like. Men.
And who comes home from shopping having spent twice as much? Men. And without ever having said boo to one single shopkeeper. Absolutely true.
Eleanor, don't hog the conversation, please. I bet your poor unfortunate husband has to live on bread and cheese.
Certainly not.
No. I see Heinz haven't got round to canning bread and cheese yet. But now, a man in the kitchen...
Yes, I'll tell you what a man in the kitchen does. Uses every pot and pan, knife and fork available, leaves the kitchen looking like the battlefield of Waterloo after Wellington had left it.
Look at you, messing up my kitchen. Go on. Honestly, men, why on earth can't they do a simple bit of cooking without spilling fat all over the place? I just never know. David, he's gone. Cleared off while I clear up. With, of course, polyroll. Over 100 feet of absorbent paper that's absolutely wonderful for cleaning up.
Is there a cold in the house? There is. 2. Never mind. Extra soft Scotties are kind to tender noses. Give your cold the gentle care of Scotties. Soft, soft Scotties with wet strength. So blow as hard as you like, you'll never blow through soft, soft Scotties. In white, softest pink, and yellow, Scotties.
I remember the first time we met.
That old black magic has me in its spell. That old black magic that you weave so well.
I couldn't take my eyes off you.
La-da-dee-dum. The same old witchcraft when your eyes meet mine.
I knew I had to see you again.
Black magic. It was the first thing you ever gave me.
That old black magic called love.
Can't be good for you, can it? Well, all this soft, starchy stuff. Well, I hadn't thought about it. I was only saying yesterday, a balanced diet, I said, that's what we women need.
She's off again. We eat all wrong. Our food hasn't got enough roughage, whatever that is. We should have our vegetables raw, and on about keeping regular.
It's all very well for you. You never seem to get run down like I do.
I think it's time I told her.
About Kellogg's All-Bran, the crisp and pleasant cereal that keeps a person regular because it provides the roughage that so many of us lack in our diet. All-Bran for breakfast. A much nicer way to keep your system regular than taking medicine.
Double 2 is the shirt for you.
The shirt for you, and you, and you. There's twice the life in a double two. The beautifully cut collar has a replacement you can fit in 5 minutes. The shirt for you is double two. The collar-attached shirt with the free spare collar. Double two, double two, double two.
Woman's Mirror brings you another fabulous fashion offer. The Swing Spring Skirt, only 10 shillings. Cut out and ready to sew, you can make it in an evening. It's colourful, colour-fast cotton, gay and carefree for sunny days. Pretty and practical in the office, and so glamorous for parties. Choose from 4 different colours in 6 different sizes and spring into spring with this great fashion offer. Only in tomorrow's Woman's Mirror.
Mrs. Flash is coming your way.
Hello, I'm Mrs. Flash, and this is my special house on wheels. I'm coming your way with exciting cash prizes and these wonderful free Flash sponge mops. All around your town, you'll be seeing the special Mrs. Flash vans. We'll be visiting hundreds of streets in this area during the next few weeks, calling on housewives everywhere. So if you can show us a large packet of Flash and answer a simple question correctly, we'll give you £2 and a free Flash sponge mop. And if you have 2 large packets or a giant packet of Flash and answer the question correctly, you'll get £10 and a free sponge mop. So be ready if I call on you. Make sure you have some Flash in the house because it could win you an exciting prize. And remember, Flash cuts cleaning time in half.
Buy Flash now, for Mrs. Flash is coming your way.
Mention the word courtesy to most road users today, and they'll probably laugh. For instance, you get a nice, orderly queue of traffic. And there's always some road hog tries to jump it. It's enough to give you blood pressure. And when it comes to crossing on a busy corner, you can be there all day for all the traffic cares. First come, first served. And the devil take the hindmost. And yet, how nice it could be if people showed a little courtesy, a little more patience. A little more give and take.
After you.
No, after you. A little more consideration could make life so much easier. So please don't be rude on the road.
Well, you made it.
Of course I did. Feel strong enough to go on?
Ooh, let's have a break first.
That means a Kit Kat.
Good idea.
Just the job.
Wonderful chocolate.
Like the wafer. It's so crispy.
Have a break. Have a Kit Kat. Crispy, crunchy chocolate to have a break. Have a Kit Kat.
Now for our drama. Until the late 1950s, most television plays were versions of the classics, or polite West End comedies. Then Sidney Newman arrived from Canada to become the driving force behind ABC's armchair theatre. And in 1958, he began to alter the face of TV drama by commissioning original plays from young writers, contemporary dramas about class conflict, the generation gap, not enough money. They were powerful pieces, downbeat, and they became known not all that unkindly as kitchen sink dramas. They turned out to be immensely popular. Harold Pinter's A Night Out in 1960 topped the ratings with an audience of over 16 million. At this time, Angus Wilson and Alan Owen were also writing for ABC. Lena, Oh My Lena is one of a trilogy of Liverpool plays by Alan Owen. Alan wrote about people who were passionate enough but not very articulate. And there's a terrific performance, as usual, by Billy Whitelaw. Alan Owen once wrote that he felt that his spare, gritty style was something of a conscious reaction to Dylan Thomas's Welsh poetic fluency. Now, after the break, we join Anthony Newley and enter the strange world of Gurney Slade.
I'm going to try to reopen negotiations with the Kingdom of God.
Heavens above. Tomorrow at 10 on 4.
Are you there?
You'll be shocked. You'll be terrified. But you won't miss it. Tuesday at 10 on 4.
Sid Green and Dick Hills were the out-of-the-rut comedy writers who supplied Morecambe and Wise with some of their most original visual ideas during their ITV days. In 1960, Hills and Green worked with Anthony Newley on a most odd comedy series. Newley, you remember, co-wrote and acted in the musical Stop the World, I Want to Get Off. He also sings a great deal, in a curious style not unlike a parody of his own singing. Our series was called The Strange World of Gurney Slade. It was the era of giving characters funny names to indicate that they were meant to be laughable. In the programme, Gurney Slade, who seems to be vaguely a malcontent, wanders about and is talked to by dustbins and stones and an occasional human being. And he has a toe-curling Chaplin-esque routine in a park. Apart from the whiff of Charlie Chaplin, the show is an original oddity, and I'd love to know what you make of it. I should mention that 3 years after that series, Anthony Newley married Joan Collins, moved to Hollywood and appeared in innumerable movies. And that's all for this week. Next week, we shall produce from behind the clouds 3 whole programs from 1969. A Galton and Simpson comedy about a man whose hobby is marrying women and then murdering them.
Did she suffer?
No, it was very quick.
The first episode of the series about 2 crime-fighting private eyes, Randall and Hopkirk deceased.
Hello. I must go.
Why?
It'll be light soon.
So?
Afore the sun shall rise anew, each ghost unto his grave must go. I'll see you tonight.
Country and western singer Johnny Cash entertains real-life criminals in San Quentin jail.
I'm stuck in Folsom Prison, and time keeps dragging on.
And now we'll ring out 1960 with Lonnie Donegan and the nature of his father's gainful employment. Good night.
Now here's a little story, to tell it is a must, about an unsung hero that moves away a dust. Some people earn a fortune, others earn a mint. Huh? My old man don't earn much, in fact he's flipping skint. Oh, my old man's a dustman, he wears a dustman's hat, he wears gold-blimey trousers, and he lives in a council flat. He looks a proper nana in his great big hobnail boots. He's got such a job to pull them up that he calls them daisy roots. Are you right, Dad? All right, then. One day, whilst in a cafe, he spilt a milkman's tea. The milkman rose to argue, and he was 6'3". I'm very, very sorry, Dad cried out in remorse, then scarpered out the cafe door and kicked the milkman's horse. So my old man's a dustman, he wears the dustman's hat, he wears gold-blimey trousers, and he lives in a council flat. I say, Les.
Hello.
Why does my dustman always wear red, white, and blue braces?
I don't know. Why does he always wear red, white, and blue braces?
Oh, to hold his trousers up, of course, wasn't it? Here we go. So my old man's a dustman, he wears the dustman's hat, he wears gold-blimey trousers, and he lives in a council flat. Next time you see a dustman looking all pale and sad, don't put him in the dustbin, 'cause it might be on your
Sean Day-Lewis has written a history of television programmes to accompany TV Heaven. The fully illustrated booklet is available by sending a cheque or postal order for £4.95, payable to Channel 4, to TV Heaven, P.O. Box 4000, London W3 6XJ.
Shh! Sean Hughes?
Sean Hughes?
Sean Hughes?
Sean Hughes? He's not here, is he?
Shh! Sean's show. Don't tell everyone.
Court TV next follows the case of a group of anti-abortion campaigners who are charged with trespass. But the defendants are determined to turn what should be a straightforward legal issue into a question of life and death.
Sweet 16 goes to church just to see the boys. Laughs and screams and giggles at every little noise. Turns her face a little, then turns her head a while. But everybody knows she's only putting on the style.